Chag Sameach. Are we ready to start? Because we're ready. Shh. Please join us.
Welcome to a Sondheim Shushan Shenanigans. Maestro. Something familiar, something peculiar, something for everyone. A Purimshpiel tonight. Esther's appealing, Haman's appalling, Mordecai's a shining light. A Purimshpiel tonight. Bring on the king with both his queens. Bring on the villain, Haman's not chillin'. Jews are in danger, peril's no stranger. Esther will have to save the day. Let's start the show now, Purimshpiel tonight.
We go back, way back to ancient Persia and its capital city of Shushan. Using our own creative license, we now present the story of Purim. The new king of Persia, Ahasuerus, has been holding extravagant parties throughout the land celebrating his rule. Meanwhile, his prime minister, Haman, is secretly scheming to undermine him.
The people of Shushan have a king who spends more time partying than he does governing.
Wait a minute.
Come on. It won't be long before they get tired of him and throw him out, which will leave a clear path for me to take over the reins of the government. I can't wait. Oh, wait a second. Is that Vashti? Oh, no. I hope Vashti didn't hear me. She plays a very important role in my plan. If she's not on my side, then I'll have to make sure the king gets rid of her.
What's going on, Haman? Are you plotting again?
Yes, plotting how to win your love. I know you're married to King Ahasuerus, but you deserve better. All the parties he's been having while neglecting you and fooling around with all those other women, I'm the he-man for you as well as the hey-man. And for tonight, I'm the hair man. We make a great team.
How dare you, Haman? You snake in the sand?
Vashti, don't you mean snake in the grass?
There's more sand than grass in Shushan, but you're a snake nonetheless. I am loyal to my husband, the king, regardless of his behavior at those celebrations.
Ah, Vashti and Haman. I'm glad you're both here. It's been a whole week since my last celebration, which means it's time to party again. However, this one will be the grandest of them all, and it will be held right here in Shushan. I want to party like it's 357 BC. Do we have a drum? Ta-dun-dunk. Whisper in my ear. Great idea, Haman. Great idea. You know what, Vashti? At this extravaganza, you must do a suggestive dance to show everyone that I'm married to the most desirable woman in all of Persia.
I'll do no such thing. I am the queen, your wife, not the rock band, and I've got standards of good taste to uphold. Remember this?
What's
our
that?
Contract? Our prenuptial agreement?
The prenup.
Don't you remember that clause in our marriage contract that says that any dance that I do must be rated PG? I won't do a suggestive dance, but I'll happy to do the twist or the bossa nova.
Well, according to my eyes, Haman, this says we the people. Anyways, although as king I have the authority to void any contract, how about we put it up for a vote? All those in favor of the contract say aye.
I.
Really? All those in favor of the contract being voided say nay.
Nay, nay, nay.
That's it. Just like James Comer, when he hears it wrong, the nays have it. Yeah, you'd have to watch C-SPAN to get that one. You got it. The contract is hereby null and void.
Wait a second. Now I get it. This is all Haman's idea. Don't you see that he's looking to find a way to get rid of you as the king and take over? He even tried to get me on his side by making romantic overtures, but I rebuffed him.
You? Me? That's ridiculous. I did no such thing. I will always be loyal to you, my king. She's just saying that as an excuse to avoid following your command.
Vashti, Haman. Haman has been my loyal prime minister who has been invaluable to me in governing Persia. If he thinks my rule will be enhanced by your sexy performance at my next party, then let it be so. And again, I command you to do it.
Absolutely, positively, and categorically no!
Then you can no longer be queen, my wife, not the rock band. I hereby... Who wrote that joke, anyways? It's not falling. It's just not falling. I hereby banish you to wherever banished people go. I want you out of my sight forever.
Something's going to harm me. I won't be around. Nothing's going to harm me. No, sir, I won't be around. Haman is prowling everywhere nowadays. Send him a howling if you care. Find a way. Haman cannot hurt me. He won't ever dare. Haman will desert you. Better worry, whistle, I'm not there. Haman, I'll charm you with a smile for a while. But in time, he is going to harm you, and I won't be around.
My old buddy. How's my buddy?
All right. Sire,
Yes.
at this upcoming party, I'll have all the single women of Shushan in attendance, and you can have your pick of any of them to be your new queen.
Not the rock band. Haman. Who's better than you, huh? With all the beautiful women of Shushan in one place, I can pick the fairest one. Wait a second. Forget the fairest one. I'll pick the most gorgeous one. Shushan women, fascinating, sipping coffee, dancing. Shushan women are a wonder. Shushan women, sitting in the window or standing on the stair. Something in them cheers the air. Shushan women silhouetted, stay within you glancing, stay forever breathing lightly. Shushan women, blowing out their candles or combing out their hair. Even when they leave, they still are there. They're there. Shushan women at their mirrors.
In their gardens,
Letter writing,
flower picking,
weather watching, how they make a man sing. Proof of heaven as you're living. Shushan women, sir, Shushan women. Here's to all the Shushan women.
Shushan women, yes.
Shushan women. Haman. You indeed are clearly a kindred spirit.
Thank you, sire. But the situation with Vashti shows me that not enough people appreciate my value. Now, if you could just issue a royal decree that people must bow down to me, that would make my value obvious to everyone.
Let me think about that. Haman. I've thought it through. Consider it done.
In Shushan lives Mordecai, a kind-hearted Jewish man, along with his niece Esther, with whom Mordecai has raised since she was a small child.
Esther, did you hear about the big party the king is throwing tomorrow night? He has commanded that all the single women of Shushan be there so that he can pick a new wife and queen, not the rock band.
What do you mean, a new wife, Uncle Mordecai? What happened to Queen Vashti?
She may have been successful in the past, but I heard that recently she disobeyed his direct command, so she's history. That's too bad, because she was the one voice of reason who could talk Ahasuerus out of acting on his worst impulses.
Why would I want to be married to someone who would do that to his wife? I'm going to skip his party and try out this new form of entertainment called a movie. I heard this guy, Saul Spielberg, who lives in the suburbs of Shushan, invented it. Everyone seems to want to see a Spielberg production, especially on Tuesday evenings when admission is half price. After all, there's nothing like a good spiel. I bet those people out there wish they were watching a good one now.
Maybe you didn't hear me right. You don't have a choice. All single women must go. Just think of the good that you could do if you're selected. You might be able to prevent the Persians from taking actions against our people when they want to blame us for something. Just don't tell the king that you are Jewish.
The celebration went forward with all the single women in Shushan in attendance. King Ahasuerus picked Esther to be his new bride. A few days later, Mordecai was sitting by the palace gate having coffee and eating a prune Danish when he overheard two men plotting to assassinate the king. He told Esther to warn the king, which she did. Shortly thereafter, the two would-be assassins were arrested.
The king has been so busy with his pretty new bride, I thought those two assassins I hired could get the job done. I'll tell you, I'll never hire anybody from Assassins R Us agency again. Now I'll have to come up with a new plan.
Good day to you, Prime Minister Haman.
Yeah, it's been a real great day, you old Jew.
A great day indeed, now that the king is safe.
I can't tell you how happy that makes me. Wait a second. How did you know that the king was in danger?
Well, I was having coffee and eating a prune Danish when I overheard two guys plotting to kill the king. After eating that Danish, I had to run, and I mean run, to alert Queen Esther before they could do any harm to the king.
So that's why they failed. Since this guy has it in with Queen Esther and seems to know what's going on around the palace, I've got to dispense of him and make a second attempt to kill the king. Persia will forever be grateful to you, sir, but there's one thing that you need to remind you of. You forgot to bow down to me when I entered.
I didn't forget, we Jews bow only to God and not to any man.
Mordecai, you are aware of the royal decree that says everyone must bow down to me, correct?
I don't know how that royal decree came about, but I'm sure the king did not realize that his Jewish subjects are forbidden by their religion to bow to you.
So Mordecai won't bow to me. I have every right to have him executed for his insolence. If my plan works, he won't be around to eat any more prune Danish or to warn the king.
Haman, I need your advice. There's a man who's gone above and beyond to show his loyalty to me and my kingdom. And I want to honor him. How should I do it?
Well, sire, this man should be dressed up in the finest clothing. And, what's my place?
I threw you off.
On the finest clothing and ride with you in the royal chariot around Shushan, so that everyone knows how much you appreciate him.
Haman, that's a wonderful idea. You know, that's why I depend on you so much. Esther told me about this man Mordecai, that he was the one who discovered that plot to kill me and sounded the alarm. Definitely, we're going to honor Mordecai in exactly the way you suggested.
Thank you, sire. Glad I could be of help.
Sure thing.
Oh, great. So now the king is going to make Mordecai a hero. I can't let that happen. Hey, why not kill two birds with one stone? Why not kill all the birds with one stone? If none of the Jews will bow to me because of their silly religious superstition, I'll use the royal decree as an excuse to kill them all, starting with Mordecai. Then I'll make sure Ahasuerus is blamed for the mass killing, and then I'll take over. I just need a little free time to finalize the plans. Let's see what my schedule looks like. The 12th of Adar is not good because I have a Persian rug weaving class. The 14th of Adar is not good either because I have an important Union of Evil Prime Ministers meeting, which I am the chairperson of. Can't do that. The 13th of Adar will be a perfect day to make that happen. I can erect some gallows right here in town starting tomorrow. Isn't it rich? Will a king care? Round up the Jews on that day, hang them in midair. Send in the Jews. Isn't it bliss? Don't you approve? Jews won't stop trying to rule. I'll stop their every move. Where are the Jews? Send in the Jews. Just when I thought these pests were done, finally knowing these Jews I loathe would be gone, plotting my revenge again with my usual flair. Sure of my plan, none of them will be there. Isn't it rich? Let's have a beer, a great big toast to cap my career. But where are the Jews? There ought to be Jews.
A few days go by, rumors of an attack upon the Jews are starting to spread, and Vashti hears of them. She finds Queen Esther at Mordecai's house to see what they can do to thwart Haman's plan.
I'm glad I found you, Esther. How do you like being the queen?
It's good to be queen, But it's not all it's cracked up to be. My life is just not my own anymore with all my royal obligations. I have no time to watch my soaps. Not that watching bars of soap is all that exciting, but someone has to do it.
Been there, done that, Esther. I know exactly what you mean. Mordecai, thanks for letting me come here. Thank you.
No problem. But why did you risk life and limb to meet us? You know what might happen to you if you spot in Shushan.
I had to warn you that Haman is planning to kill you and all the Jews. You saw those giant gallows that are going up in the center of town. While I don't care much about the king anymore, I can't just stand by and see you and your people killed.
Vashti, thanks for the heads up, but what can we do? Look what happened to you when you tried to warn the king about Haman. Besides, the king has no idea that I'm Jewish.
Vashti, let me talk to Esther alone.
My pleasure.
What is it, Uncle Mordecai?
Esther, you're the only one who could save us. You have influence with the king. You already used the information I gave you to stop those assassins in their tracks.
Of course, the king cares about his own life, but the king is going to wonder why I'm getting involved to stop the Jews from being killed. No one has ever interceded on behalf of the Jews before.
We Jews always been loyal to him. Convince him that he cannot afford to lose the very people who have supported him and his father before him all these years.
You told me not to tell him I'm Jewish. He's going to put 2 and 2 together and figure out that I'm Jewish and hid it from him. He's got such a hot temper. Look what he did to Vashti for just a small disobedience. He just replaced one queen. He might be happy to let Haman kill me along with the rest of the Jews and then go shopping for another one.
I realize the risk, Esther, but it's a chance you must take. The lives of our people are in your hands.
So Esther came up with a plan on how to tell the king. She cooked several feasts for the king and Haman. We join them at the last of these feasts.
I'm glad you told me to give Polly, my personal chef, the week off so that you could cook for us, Esther. This is an amazing meal. You cook so much better than Polly, Esther. Da-dunk-dunk. I've never eaten pot roast, knishes, noodle pudding, and kasha varnikas delicious as these. Where'd you learn to cook like this?
I learned to cook from my mother when I was growing up. The recipes were passed down to her from her mother, etc.
Esther, to show my gratitude for the wonderful meals you prepared, I will now grant you any request that you make.
Please, my king, I have heard of a terrible plot to kill all the Jews, including me. Only you can prevent it. I beg your forgiveness for not telling you sooner that I am Jewish.
You're Jewish? That's why your brother was named Santos. Anyways. That's not in the script, by the way. I did that on the spot. Right?
It's confusing me.
I'm confusing Esther. I should have realized that when I noticed you using your hands so much, like when you were speaking, that you were Jewish.
Yeah.
Anyways, back to the thing you told me before. Who would do such a dastardly thing? I mean, the Jewish people have always been my biggest supporters. I have no ill will towards them.
It's him, Haman.
Oh! Oh!
He's using our disobedience of the royal decree that makes people bow down to him as an excuse. He's already built gallows in downtown Shushan to hang the Jews.
Aha! I should have known that you were Jewish. From the white fish salad, lox, bagels, and arugula you served at the morning feast. By the way, the pickled herring was out of this world. But King,
I agree.
A royal decree is a royal decree. What's a few less Jews compared to obeying the king's command?
Amen.
us right and give us some breath. Someone to stop all the hate that Haman is trying to fan. Someone to pull him up short and stop his whole plan. Justice you have to let in, we Jews that have to be spared. You've got to end prejudice and show us you care for everyone. We Jews will crowd you with love. Haman is evil, you know. We Jews will always come through and always be there and loyal to you. Just keep us alive. Keep us alive. Keep us alive. Keep us alive.
Haman, I can't take back the royal decree, but it won't matter much to you when I have you strung up on those gallows you've built yourself. It won't be easy for people to bow down to you while your lifeless body hangs there, but I'm sure they'll manage.
And so the Jews of Persia survived and thrived, moved and grooved, pranced and danced. Peace and harmony reigned throughout Persia as Jews and non-Jews, such as the king and Mordecai, worked together to make their world a better place to live.
Haman is hung, Esther and Vashti side by side by side. Mordecai's not done, help out Achashverosh side by side by side. Justice for all, how sweet, side by side by side. All kind of folks can meet, love it, can't get enough of it. Everyone winks, put aside all doubt, side by side by side. Let's all have drinks and nobody's left out, side by side by side. Peace is possible, hate is dreary, as one will be safe and cheery, side by side by side. Hey! Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, the Purimshpiel, the Sondheim Shushan shenanigans brought to you on this night. Hello, excuse me. Brought to you on this night bar, of course, our narrator who stepped in, Laurel the Hamantashen, not to be outdone by Vashti, Deborah Tract, the Vashti of all Vashtis, and of course, Esther of all Shushan, Deborah Silverman, beautifully typecast with her husband Mordecai, Andy Silverman. And of course, the meanest, the worst, the most despicable, the most awful, the most evil, the grossest, the worst guy ever, Haman. Sorry, I take it all back. Haman. And brought to you by King Achashverosh at your service. Ladies and gents, thank you for coming to our Purimshpiel. Don't forget to tip the maestro, Edward Stolarz. Believe me, he prefers cash over Hamantashen. We'll see you in the Oneg. Shabbat Shalom. Thank you for coming out.